Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Easy Happy Hour session. And today we are still in the topic series revisiting ways to add software to Easy. Uh, this topic series is made up of two sessions. Last week we had an Easter vacation, so we didn't have an Easy Happy Hour session. The one before the Easter vacation, we covered ways to build software locally on top of Easy. And in the current session, we will be covering contributions to Easy. That is in the session name Local Builds and Contributions to Easy Part 2. Before I go forward, I would like to remind you that this session is being recorded. And at the end of the session, we will stop the recording for more informal conversation. Today's highlights. There was a new Easy Build version 5.3.0 release, and it had additional changes, bug fixes. One of the nice features which I would like to mention is the rich color that has been added to the print messages, and also the new 2026.1 toolchain, which has been added to EasyBuild version 5.3.0. And you can check the link on the screen for more information about the new changes. I would also like to mention that next week, between Tuesday and Thursday, April 21st and 23rd, there is the EasyBuild user meeting in Portugal. You can still register for online follow-up. Also, there is a Easy Webinar Series 2026 starting Monday, 27th of April. The first session is Introduction to Easy. Then there will be a session also about building software and contributions to Easy. The third will be using Easy for continuous integration, CI/CD. Then introduction to CERN VMFS and best practices. And finally, using Easy as a base for central software stack. That's on the 1st of June. Also, you can find the link to register to those webinar sessions. On the 29th of April, there is the fourth Euro HPC Federation platform webinar. That's authentication and authorization infrastructure. And also, you can still register. Registration is open. And finally, for the highlights of today, there is the ISC 26 conference, 22nd till 26th of June at Hamburg. So, as mentioned earlier, in the topic series, we are covering how to add software to Easy. We did cover using the Easy Extend module to add software locally on top of Easy with Easy Build. We also covered in the first part one session, the manual building of software on top of Easy without Easy Build, that is the build-in modules. If you need more information or to review those, there is the presentations and recorded session has been set on the website, so you can visit those. For today, we will be covering contributions to the Easy Software Stack. And while doing that, I will also do a quick review of building software locally on top of Easy because I want to make the difference really clear of how to build things locally and the difference when we contribute to the Easy Software Stack. And also before doing that, I would like to do a quick review about the contribution policy that you have to follow before making a contribution to Easy. So for that, I will be showing the contribution policy, which is in the easy.io docs. And I will quickly review the major points in the policy. So the purpose of the contribution policy is to provide guidelines and requirements to be taken into consideration while adding software to Easy. The first is that the software you are trying to add should be freely distributable, and we prefer that it is an open source software. For more information about the licensing, you can check the link available on the page for SPDX license list. Second, in Easy, we do all our builds using the EasyBot. We also covered that in previous sessions. You can find that session in previous Easy Happy Hour or in the webinar series. And also we will be mentioning that in the upcoming webinar series. So it is half automated or mostly automated build, and it is reproducible in case we need to reproduce the same build to troubleshoot. Third is we do require that we use the latest easy build version, and in case it is necessary, we do recommend to use the minus minus from commit and minus minus include easy blocks from commit in case the newest easy build that is set into use still doesn't include the changes for the easy configs. And also, we do emphasize that we use the latest available compiler toolchains. And while you are making the pull request to add software to Easy, make sure that you are using the right combination of the toolchain with the Easy version, because each Easy version uses specific set of toolchains. For example, the Easy 2023-06 uses 2022B, 2023A, and 2023B toolchains, while the Easy 2025-06 uses later toolchains. And finally, one of the most important issues to mention, or the notes to mention, is that software that is added to Easy should be supported to work on the 15 different CPU targets that we support. There are exceptions, but we do prefer that the software that is added supports those 15 different CPU targets. For today, since we covered the contribution policy, I will continue with the demo that I would like to show. First, I would like to show you, this is the first VM I'm using is called Happy Hour. In this VM, I can see that if I do ls/cvmfs software.easy.io, I have the recommended way of accessing Easy, that is the CVMFS client. While in the second VM, which I want to use, there is no CVMFS, and I named it Happy Hour No CVMFS so that we can clearly differentiate. If I do ls/cvmfs, I can see that there is no CVMFS on the system. Both are Haswell, Intel Haswell. So if I do ls CPU, as I grep Intel, sorry, it should be grep -i Intel. So I can see that it is using Intel Haswell. I'm mentioning those because when I build the software, I want to show something. So keep in mind that I'm using Intel Haswell here, as well as ls CPU grep -i Intel. It is again Intel Haswell here. So I will use the Happy Hour No CVMFS because I will try to show you the steps we use while building software using the EasyBot. So when we use the EasyBot, we use the Easy container script that we covered earlier in the Easy Happy Hour sessions. And then we build the software using the CVMFS installation, which I will show now. So for now, for today, I will be building the package called image.io. So image.io is a mature Python library that makes it easy to read and write image and video data. I chose it randomly because it's small and it can be easily explained, the steps and the building of the package in within the 15 minutes that we usually try to spend in the happy hours. So for now, what I want to do is I will go to CD software layer scripts and I will start the easy container. And with the minus ARW, for those who still wonder what this is, I use the minus ARW because I need to have a read-write access on the slash cvmfs. Again, this is mentioned in previous sessions. So now I have, if I do a df minus h, I can see that I have two cvmfs. One is cvmfs slash cvmfs config, and the second is cvmfs underscore ro. I will highlight those here. So because I'm getting a read write on the slash cmfs software.easy.io locally. Next, what we do using the EasyBot is we use the prefix. So I will do slash cvmfs software versions 2025 compat Linux, and I'm on the x86 and start prefix. We do this to further isolate our environment. So now I will clear so that you see, now I'm in the easy prefix. This further isolates the environment from the host. And now, as usual, I will initialize easy. So I will source slash cmfs software versions 2025 init lmode and bash. Now easy is initialized. And I will do a quick check. Module avail image.io. It's not there. We can also check it through the available software in the EasyIO docs. And the next thing I want to do is I want to load the easy extend module. And to also try to replicate what the bot does, I will try to build using the CVMFS option with the easy extend module. So before doing that, I will export easy cvmfs install equal 1. And now I will try to use to load the easy extend module load easy extend. As you can see, the module has been successfully loaded. And why did I do that? I will try to eb minus minus show config and note the installation path. It is already shown. If you can see here, it's noting that to create installation, you should have permission access, but it will be clearer in the installation path, which will be shown now when now it's streaming the software, the easy build. That's why it takes a bit of time. And the installation path you can see is slash cmfs softwareis.io and the CPU architecture. And this is what we do when we use the bot. Next, I will do some additional steps just to fetch the easy config. So if I do eb minus s image.io, as you can see, the colors, this is what I mentioned, but we will further see them ahead. So this is something that was introduced in EasyBuild, the version that was released. So now if I do eb minus r and image.io with the 2025A, because 2020 toolchain 2025A is supported in EC 2025-06. So if I do that, I can see that it is trying to fetch the required files, checking the easy config, started parsing the hooks, which are all automatically set when I load the easy config, the easy extend module. Here the colors are more obvious. It will try to build, and it shouldn't take too long. And that's why specifically I chose this package, because we do already have all the dependencies, the required dependencies. So it's doing the required running shell command. and hopefully it should be done pretty soon. Yes, sanity check, and it should create the module. This is a minimal VM with 1 gig memory, so that's why it's really slow, but it's good for the showcase. So as you can see, it has successfully built ImageIO 2.37. Why I started by showing you two VMs. So now I do have the module built in slash cvmfs software versions, and as if it is through really the easy software stack that we ship. But this is only local, as I mentioned, because I gave the access, read-write access to the slash cvmfs. And to further show you, if I do module minus minus ignore cache image.io, avail, I missed the avail. And why I added the minus minus ignore cache? Because I just built it and it is not in the cache that is provided by Easy. So now it takes a bit of time again because it is scanning through the module path that is set, and it should now, yes, as expected. So now it is telling me that ImageIO 2.37 is available within the CVMFS. What I will do is I will go to the second VM, which has CVMFS, and I will initialize easy source slash CVMFS software dot easy.io slash versions 2025 init L mode bash. So it is again telling me that it has initialized easy with Haswell. I will do module minus minus ignore cache so that I will repeat what I did there, avail ImageIO. And I will see that it will take a while because it will read the cache again, but it will not find the ImageIO. And this is specifically why we try to build the software within the Easy stack and not just locally. Because Easy is community-based, and we want to make the software available on every system that uses Easy, also using different architectures. So now what I want to do is to have the same package, but doing through a contribution to Easy. So I will go to my shell here. This is on my laptop. And also doing the contributions to Easy is explained within the Easy IO docs. So I will go fastly through it, explaining what's happening. First, you need to fork the Easy software layer repo, and then you need to add a remote to your fork. So if I do here a pwd, you can see that I am in the software layer. If I do a git remote minus v, you can see that I have already added my fork. And now there are several easy stacks, which we will see. So if I do ls easy stacks software 2025, again, as I mentioned, be aware 2023-06 and 2025-06. So if I go to 2025-06, and I can see that there are several easy stack files. Oops, there is no the 5.3.0. So specifically what I would do, and it's good that we saw this example now, I will create the easy 2025-06 EB 5.3.0.yaml. So I will copy this and paste this. I will change to 5.3.0 2025A because the software I am adding is 2025A, the image IO which I built. So now if I do a VI, I need to create this file, and this YAML file starts with easy configs, and then I add the image IO which I built. So if I come here again, just to grab EB-S image IO, just to quickly grab the easy config which I tried to build. It was this one. So I will add this here. I will write this file. I will add the file, git add. Sorry, my mistake. It's cleaner to have a branch before doing all this. So I will not add the file now. I will do a git branch git checkout -b, and I will call the image IO. It's always preferred to have a branch, not always use the main one. So if I do a git branch now, I will see that I'm in image IO. I will do git pull just in case any new changes have been added. And now I will do vi, again, easy stack, and this is added. I will do git add, and I will add this file. And now I will commit and try to push it to my fork. So I will do git commit. I did this earlier, so I will use the same one, but instead I will do image IO. And with the version that I'm using is 2.37.0. Version 2.37.0. So now that I did the commit, I will push it to my branch, git push ERPS, and with the branch. Basically, I will continue now here showing you what's happening. So if I go now to easy software layer, it's easier to use this. So if I go to the easy software layer, I can see that there is a pull request that has been made to my branch, and it's asking if I want to open a PR in easy. So I can see the changes. It has added an easy stack file, which is easy 2025-06, EB5.3.0, and 2025 a.yaml. And the PR will be named as easy 2025-06, which is the easy version, the toolchain we're using, and then the software package. So I will label this as 2506, and I will create the PR. For you as contributors, this is all what you're required to do. And for us as maintainers and contributors, we will follow this up. So for now, those CI checks will run. And after everything runs correctly, what we do to repeat what I did manually is initiate a build with the bot. So for example, I will use non-GPU and I will only restrict myself to one architecture for now, just to make sure that it builds. Maybe there is some typo or something in the pull request. So I submitted the build. The build now will automatically try to start a session, load easy, and the bot will build the software that I'm trying to build. Maybe for now, this is we can wait, or I prefer we can have discussion or questions, if any, and have a look later on to see if it has built successfully or not. This is what I wanted to show you today, and I hope it was worth and up to the expectations. So Any questions are welcome. For now, it will take some time because it's trying to start an instance, but this is all transparent. So it is submitting the job to build the software on EasyBot AWS, but again, for contributors, you will not be involved in this. So once you open the PR, we as maintainers and contributors will be handling to make this label set so that we can build. And what will happen in case we end the session before this is over? So if this builds successfully, I will initiate a build for other architectures, as I said. So this is one architecture. There are 14 others. So after the full package is built, then we can ingest the software in Easy and it will become available and accessible to all users who are accessing Easy. I see we have a question in the chat. Is there any way to test the build before submitting the PR? Let me understand, Ben. So you can surely try to build the package locally before submitting the PR, as similar to how I did. And if you want to follow in details, you can also use the prefix, easy prefix that we use. So in case you tested it locally, EasyBuild has some tests with which it runs after finishing the build. So if it is successfully built there, it should at least be successfully built using the bot on that architecture which you tested. Does that answer your question? Okay. So for example, what I do, or if we have time, I will also show that if this builds successfully, I will also try to build it randomly on another ARM architecture. As said earlier, we do prefer or we emphasize that the software we build in Easy supports different architectures. So using x86 is something and using ARM is another. So at least we try building on those two separate architectures, main architectures. If it works, then we go into details like Zen 2, Zen 3, Zen 4, and Neoverse N1, Neoverse V1, and Grace. But for contributors, again, if you do try at least to build it once locally to make sure that it works, it will be great. If not, you can submit the PR, or if you're trying to build it and it fails, you can submit the PR, then at least we can share our knowledge and try to build the software and troubleshoot to see what's happening. Any other questions?
Hi, Risha. Question regarding the support for multiple architectures, as you indicated, that there's a preference for software that is building for the different platforms. But you said that there would be exceptions. Is there any documentation where this can be seen? I have some software in mind that only targets a subset of the platforms that are included in the project. So that would probably not
Mm,
fit.
for easy, I can show you basically it should be in the software layer, something called known issues, which we use. Yeah, for example, here we set some exceptions or some nodes that we follow. So for example, if we check espresso, we said there is an issue here, so we open an issue and there are some tests failing due to timeouts, so we follow this. For example, Another one is PyTorch. For specifically this version 2.1.2 on ARM, there are 8 failing tests out of 209,000. So those exceptions, if needed, we can make them. But yet we do prefer that we build for every architecture.
Okay, but if it's the case that the tool itself does not, let's say, does not officially support a certain platform, does that automatically exclude that tool from being included in easy, or in that case we would do a different approach and just restrict it in the architectures that it builds against?
I totally understand the question, Renato, and that is why we set or clarified in the contribution policy that it is preferable to use the latest available version of the software because we saw this when building software using 2023-06. So some software didn't support ARM, for example, and we didn't make exceptions for them, but we didn't include them in the easy stack again. So for example, I built those locally on our HPC machines, but didn't contribute it to easy. I'm waiting for some new software versions of that specific software. If it supports the ARM architecture, then I will do the contribution. But in case, for example, you contact the support or the software package website states that it will never support, for example, specific architecture, then we can definitely make the exception. Yeah, I can see what you posted in the chat. Has a make file for a different platform. It supports, but based on CPU flags, not architectures, like Ben's question. I'm sure. Yeah. So there are some software packages which still don't support different CPU architectures or microarchitectures. So yes, we can look into those. But usually with the latest tool chains and with the latest available versions of the software, they are more into like supporting those architectures. So the build is on the way. Hopefully it finishes sometime soon so that we can see how we follow this up. Any other questions? I hope it doesn't take too long. So today we have seen that with the new EasyBuild version, in case that EasyStack file is not available, we have to first create it and then set the package inside it. But this is rare because those easy build versions are few. For example, we can check some past code here, easy stacks. So it is not something that's done on daily basis. So for example, there has been 5.1.1, 5.1.2, and now the 5.3.0, 5.2.1, and now 5.3.0. Daniel has a question. Let me put this here so that we can see what's happening. Yes, as you can see here, EasyBuild has been yesterday ingested in the Easy Stack. It's being used. So let me put this here. Oops, and there is a failure. Great, we will check what's happening. Most probably there is some typo. We will see. Let's answer Daniel first. So Daniel is asking, let's say you still want to provide this package to users across several systems and architectures, but you don't include it in easy since it doesn't support specific architectures. Specific architecture. What would be the preferred way to distribute it alongside easy? So, Daniel, your question is important, and it is also based on how many architectures are you trying to support. For example, if you is only a single architecture, then it only makes sense to build it locally. But if you have different architectures or at least different systems, independent systems trying to access the same package, then you can build the package on any distributed file system. So, for example, you can use NFS, but also we do prefer if you use CVMFS, similar to what we do. And in either cases of a distributed file system, you can add it to the module path and it will be automatically added to the software stack that's available. Meanwhile, I will check what happened, and it's a good case to see what went wrong. Most probably there is some typo, but it's also nice to see. So I need this and this. So now I need source hash. I go down and check the error warnings, errors. Easy missing stack, easy stack 2025, 06 command EV failed. Top level key missing in, yes, so there's a typo, and that's what I expected. So I will make it clear now what's happening. So if I go here, I want to show you the other easy stacks. So there is a typo I did. If I go here, I check any easy stack. So it is easy configs. What I did is maybe it's easier for me to change it here in the PR directly. So as you can see, files change, I did easy config. So it's a typo. I will edit this, edit file. I will add the N, commit, and try to build again. And this time it shouldn't take too long because the node is still active. So while this builds again, we can have room for more questions. So as you can see, it is quicker in responding because the session is already there, the instance is available. It will try to build. Another question from Renato in the chat. Is there any way to request an interactive resource for testing troubleshooting to build on an architecture one doesn't easily have access to? Web-based. I'm not sure of your question, Renato. So basically, for us, we do have access on AWS. We do have credits there, and we also have credits on or access to different HPC systems, which we use to build software on. But for contributors, it is a bit difficult to give access. There is a work in progress to share the log file which we also do. For example, when something fails, we try to put as command what's failing in the build, but we also are in progress of trying to find a way to share the log file with the contributor so that he or she has a better look on what's failing in the build. So if you saw, for me, I went in and checked the log file, although it is not easy because it's not only the Slurm log file that shows me what went wrong. So it is now it's clear because it's a typo. But if it's something that's failing during the build, then I need to go deeper and dig into some other log files to figure out what's happening. Any other questions? I guess this typo thing gave a good room for questions. And the lesson learned that be aware for typos. Those YAML files are really sensitive for spaces and typos. Yep. Maybe meanwhile, at the same time, I can initiate another build for ARM so that we won't wait too long for this. So this is a not GPU build. So I will go for Neoverse N1, for example, or V1, any ARM build. So I don't want the other architectures. I just want one. So I will submit. So now it will try to build for another architecture. Hopefully, if those two are successful, I will continue with the rest of the 13. And the bot will take care to automatically build. So now I can see a success. And if I check, it's telling me that it has built image.io. Note that even if this is built, it is not still in the easy stack. This is only on the system on which it has built the package. Next step is that we make a tarball, we ship it to S3, and then there is an automation script which transferred it to the stratum 0 where it gets ingested after checking, and finally you can access it in the easy stack. Any other questions? Maybe I can stop the recording then for any informal conversation. Before that, I will remind you that the next session we will be covering CI/CD workflows with Easy. But again, it is a happy hour session, so feel free to share any topic related to Easy, even if it's irrelevant to the main topic series. And after the topic series of the CI/CD workflows, remind you that we will be covering the webinar series that I mentioned earlier. So also make sure to register for the webinar series. For now, I will stop the recording.